click onto this sample, and if you have to run the application, right click and then say first you need to deploy it. As we discussed, deploy is hosting the application onto the server. I hope it starts. Now once it starts, then we need to write the code for the servlet. So how do you write the servlet as? If you see, in order to write the code for the servlets, you require the API called javax.servlet.servlet API. This is the API what we require. This is the API what you require. Sorry, this one. javax.servlet. This library file you require. So once you have this library file, you can create your own servlet with the help of the servlet interface. So I can write hello servlet code. I can write the hello servlet code that implements this servlet interface. So once it is started, I go to projects, I right click, new, and then you've got over here, servlet. Hello servlet. You can explicitly place it in some XYZ package. Servlet will come under controllers. What is controller we will be discussing shortly. Click this, add information to web.xml, and then finally you can click finish. So then with this, let me delete all this stuff. So public class hello servlet implements your servlet interface. So once you are done with it, once you do this, let me delete all these packages also that was imported by NetBeans by default. Now we are writing the code from the scratch. Now then what we do is click add import java x.servlet. That is, this servlet is present, this interface is present in java x.servlet. So you need to import the required packages. As discussed, servlet, it is an interface. It has got all the methods, abstract methods. In it, servlet config, service, and destroy. As of now, we will be discussing the three important lifecycle methods of the servlet. Because it is an interface, whenever you are writing the code for the interface, you have to implement all these 5 methods. Whether you require them or not, that is not mandate, but you need to implement them. So return some value I'm return to. Mm, So you've got this. Now let me keep this in order. You've got init, service, and then destroy. These are the 3 methods. Now, when we discuss the life cycle of the servlet, we will be discussing about this method. Now, but as of now, let us limit our discussion to the service method. Now, if you see service method as the name itself indicates, in this service method, you will write your business logic. In this service method, we write our business logic. That is, we write the code to service the clients in this method. Now, let's say I just want to greet the client saying hello XYZ. So if you have to send the response to the web server to the client, you take help of printWriter class. PrintWriter out is equal to response.getWriter. You need to import this package java.iu.print, right? And then out.println hello. So simple. This, as the name indicates, this servlet is responsible. Whenever a client tries to access the server, we just send the message, hello, John. That's it. But this is a very simple one to learn how to make use of the service method. But in the real time, when you are coding, here is where all the business logic goes. We'll be discussing unit and destroy later, but now let us discuss this service. Now, when you have to execute this, I click one more thing, index.html over here, ahref, hello servlet. That is, when I click on this link, the request should go to this hello servlet. Over here, when you're writing hello servlet, that is, if I'm clicking on the link, the request will go to hello servlet. Now let us execute this. Now over here, let me click on this link. So if I'm clicking on this, if you can observe, the request is going to this hello servlet. If you see, you are at this page now, index.html. Now you are at this page. And when you are clicking on this link, the request is going to this hello servlet. And from there it is executing the code which we have written in the service method. From there it is executing the code that has been written in the service method. So, so this is one page, and this is yes. Over here you have got link. Hello servlet. And this is the code which we have written. This code you have written over there. XYZ, I'll just copy this. Now, as discussed, this is the code what we have, and when you're clicking on this link, so when you click on this hello servlet link, your request is going to this. Is it clear? Is it clear how it works? And out.println hello John means from here it is printing the output onto the web browser. So this is the basic one. Now, when you observe this servlet interface, it has got 5 methods. When you observe this servlet interface, it has got 5 methods. So one is init method, so init, service and then destroy method. And then you've got servlet config and then get servlet info xxx. So whether you're interested in typing the or whether we are interested in implementing all the methods or not, we need to implement all the methods because that is the rule of the interface. Over here, we are only interested in implementing the service method. Over here, we are only interested in implementing this service method. But because servlet is an interface, as per the contract with the compiler, whenever you are writing the code to implement an interface, you have to implement all the methods that are defined in the interface. Let's say I'm only interested in service method. Let's say I'm only interested in service method and I'm not interested in the other methods. So for that purpose, they have provided us with another servlet class called generic servlet. By servlet it we write it, add information to web.xml and click. Now let me delete all this. Extends. Because over here if you see, you don't have to implement all the methods. You don't have to implement all the methods. You just have to override service method. So if you don't want to implement all the interface, if you don't want to implement all the methods that are written, you are just interested in overriding service method, then you can go with this. You can go with the generic servlet. Your system, that is the servlet API, it has already implemented the other methods. So if you see over here, this is the generic servlet that is provided by the servlet API. It already provides the implementation for the servlet config, and then the serializable. So when you are extending this generic servlet class, you just need to implement service method. Only service. You just have to implement the service method. You don't have to implement any other method. That is the advantage what we get. So by servlet extends generic servlet. So now let us implement this. As if you just map it to Java programming, console programming, we have got system.out.println that will write the output to the console. But over here, we have to write the output onto the web browser. You need to take help of printwriter class. So that is the reason we are taking. So system.out.println will write the output to the console, but over here we are not interested in driving the output to the console. We have to drive the output to the web page. So if you have to drive the output to the web page, you need to take help of the printwriter class. Printwriter out, you need to take help of this object. So you cannot create this object by calling new on the class type. We need to request your response object to provide you with the writer. Now you're not calling printwriter is equal to printwriter is equal to new printwriter. You are taking help of the response object. You're taking help of the response object to get this. And then out dot println by John. index.html. So if you have got these two servlets, now if I click over here, it calls by Java. So these are the two servlets that have been provided to us. Now next, so if you observe over here, you just have to override the service method if you are creating your servlet by extending the generic servlet class. You just have to override the service method. Rest of the methods are implemented by default by generic servlet. You just need to implement the service method. And as discussed, print writer object is used for writing the output onto the server side, or it is used for sending the output to the client. In order to send the output to the client that should be rendered onto a web page, we take help of printWriter class. This printWriter class, the reference to the printWriter object is provided by the servlet response. I repeat, in order to write or in order to send a response to the web page, we require help of printWriter. So you're not going to construct a printWriter object by calling new on its class type. You're going to request the servlet response object to provide you with a printWriter object to write the output onto the to send the output to the client, to send the response to the client. We take help of printWriter object. So that is the reason if you see over here, printWriter response.getWriter. You're not doing printWriter is equal to new printWriter. You are requesting the response object to give you a printWriter, and then you are writing the output to it. So are we clear so far on this basic concept? Is it clear to one and all the basic stuff what we have discussed under servlets? Can you get a quick response? If you have any doubt, just let me know, because these are the core concepts. You should be clear on this. Okay, Zahid says yes. Roma, is it clear to you? We are calling response method to request the service. Yes, you're requesting for printWriter object. Which service are you speaking about? The service on line number 18? This service method is different. You don't call this service method. This service method is called by the container.
So we only call the response method, not the request method. Request method will automatically call the service.
Hmm. So this is how we can behave this way. You are sending the request. Request will go to the web container, and then it will call your server. If you see over here, you have got this. You're sending the request. It will go and hit the web server. From there, it calls the web container, and then it is calling you either hello servlet or by servlet. When it is calling hello servlet or by servlet, then it will call the service method. Clear with this? So how it works over here is, now first, okay, you have your web server. Within the web server, you have web container. First, you have web server. Within the web server, you've got web container. And within this, you have your servlets. Now, this is the client. This is your web page. So when you hit onto the link, this is the process how it flows. First, your request will go and hit the web server. Once the request go and hit the web server, then it's the web container. Then the web container, it will call this servlet. Yeah. Then from here it calls service method. Clear with this? So what is the web container? Who is calling? Hmm. Are we clear on this? So first, this is the web page. Your request will go and hit the server, and then it hits the web container. Then it is the web container that will invoke your service method. So if you observe, we are not calling the service method. It is being called by the web container for each client request. So is it clear? Is this process clear? The basic process. Okay, fine. Hassan, is it clear? So now, if you see over here, the life cycle is, this is your web page. This is your web page. So once you are clicking on the link, hello servlet or buy servlet, this link, if you observe, it is not directly going and hitting the container. So how it goes there? First, it goes and hit the server. First, it goes and hit the server. So once it hits the server, so your link first, it goes and hits the server. Then from the server, it hits the web container. And after it hits the web container, it is the web container that is calling this service method, that is invoking the service method. So web container calls the service method. I hope it is clear. Okay, fine. So this is the basic life cycle. And then next, if you observe again, now see if you see over here, this is the complete life cycle. Now the client is sending the request to this, and when the request is being sent, your web container, if you see, it creates two objects. One is HTTP servlet request, and the other object is HTTP servlet response. And then it calls the service method, and it is the web container that calls the service method. Then it takes help of this response object to send the response to the client. I repeat it again. Once first, when the client request hits, it creates two objects. One is HTTP servlet request and the other one is HTTP servlet response. These two objects are created by the container. When it is, after it has created these two objects, then it calls the service method. When it is calling the service method, it will pass on the servlet request and servlet response object. Then, with the help of this servlet response object, it will send the response to the client. If you observe, it will take help of the servlet response object to send the response to the client. So this is the complete life cycle. So okay, fine. We'll wind up the session for the day. I've got some work. We'll wind up for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. I'm winding it up quite early because I've got some work. I'll wind up the session for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. So that's all for the day. Bye bye. And I kindly request you to go through everythingschools.com, and you can do self-learning on HTML.
Professor, here is my Hotmail ID.
Okay, sure. I'll just connect with Monica and then send the exact link to you, wherein you can get all the
Mhm.
material.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Professor.